ZeroTaste here with the second part of my 5 Things You Missed series. Today we're descending into the wretched bowels of Stormveil Castle, a place of suffering and torment for new players. I mean, when entering for the first time after the euphoria of finally beating Margit, you get backhand bitch slapped back into your place real quick. But you'll get used to it, or you will eventually. Well, once you get good, you'll want to start exploring, and there's a lot of things to explore in Stormveil Castle, some more hidden than others. And today, we're going to be giving Stormveil Castle a metaphorical prostate exam as we search every nook and cranny. So, now with my gloves on, here's a list of the top 5 items you probably missed in Stormveil Castle. Bows. Do you use them? Well, I don't, but maybe you do. So let's look at the storm arrows. The storm arrows channel the power of Zeus to strike your target with a staggering 5 poise damage, 150% more than a standard arrow. So I mean, that's better than nothing, but wait, there's more. The storm arrows also have the farthest range of all arrows in short and light bows, soaring a staggering 10% further than the standard arrow. With all sarcasm put aside, the arrows are actually pretty fun to use, and I'd recommend trying them out. You can craft them with the recipe found in the Nomadic Warriors Cookbook, Volume 10, located in Stormveil Castle, obviously. The storm arrows are good and all, but could you imagine how insane storm bolts could be? But sadly, there's only storm arrows. Man can dream. Quick question. Do you want to look stupid while also decreasing the capacity of your very essence while only gaining minimal benefit in niche circumstances? Well, do I have the item for you? Well, that's the Ash of War Scarab Helm, found past the Waygate on the Limgrave Tower Bridge. And yeah, I said this video was about 5 things you missed. I never said you were necessarily missing out by passing up on said item. The Ash of War Scarab Helm, or as I will refer to it henceforth, the Black Scarab Helm, is part of the Scarab Helm series of armor, and they all kind of do the same thing. They all give you a small buff of some sort, but increase the damage that you take by approximately 5%. And this is where they all kind of just fall flat, because the buff you receive just really isn't worth the increase in damage taken. Getting back to our item, the Black Scarab Helm, it gives you a decrease in the FP cost of Ashes of War by around 15%, which sounds good, but it's worse than the Simp Talisman that decreases the Ash of War cost by 20%, but with no drawbacks at all. So unless you have a really specific build that needs as many skill uses as possible, and you plan on combining these two, then it just really isn't useful enough to make up for the increase in damage taken. Well, the next item isn't a single item, but 3 notable weapons that you might have missed, as they are dropped by specific enemies with drop rates as low as 2% to as high as 10%. First is the Warhawk's Talon, which, as you might expect, is dropped by Stormveil's resident overgrown sky rats. It sports the best base scaling of all short swords, with scaling of D in strength and C in dexterity. So if you like fast swords and just happen to get lucky with its 2% drop rate, then I'd recommend using it. The next weapon is the Golem's Halberd, and I don't want to frighten you, but despite its name, this weapon really isn't a halberd, it's a colossal weapon. Now that your trust and authority has been degraded just a little bit more, let's talk about this so-called Golem's Halberd. With base scaling of both D in strength and dexterity, it isn't the flashiest weapon, but considering it's the first colossal weapon you'll likely encounter, that's kind of expected. It can be obtained by farming the golems who reside on the Limgrave Tower Bridge and drops at a rate of 10%. Finally, we have the Omen Cleaver that drops at a rate of 4% from the post-circumcision omen found in the courtyard of Stormveil Castle. One cool thing about the Omen Cleaver is its two-handed heavy attack is the same as the Butcher's Knife from Dark Souls 2. And oh boy, if you slap Stormcaller on this, you basically just have a big old fuck off button for your L2. So those were just a couple of the more notable drop weapons in Stormveil Castle. Next is the basic Swordstone Key, the Chuck E. Cheese token of EldenRing, and there are 3 of them inside the confines of Stormveil Castle. First, head to the top of the rampart tower and jump up here, and then walk along the ledge, and I mean, bruh, I really didn't think that these idiots would follow me up here, but when I saw them jumping around behind me and then falling down, I had maybe half a chuckle. Now, just head around here and then you can drop inside this tower and you'll find the key at the bottom. And the next one can be found by heading over here and then jumping into this area, and then going around the building and using this rope ladder. Once you're on the roof, you can head over here and drop down. You can fight the enemies, then you can go over here and you'll find the key inside this chest. Finally, you can just head across the courtyard over to this ledge with this dude just chilling and then drop down. There is another way to get down, but you're a man, aren't you? So just be sure to bend your knees. Now we can just head down this way over to where you fight the rabid tree trunk and then swoop up the key before you most likely are going to get ass blasted into oblivion. And last but not least, we have the outstanding aspect of the Crucible Horn incantation, which is honestly kind of broken, especially for an incantation you can get so early in the game. I would make a pun about this incantation making me horny, but I think that's a bit too played out at this point. Well, how do you get it? You drop down here and then you make your way down to this cliff ledge. Then you drop onto this lower ledge that will collapse from beneath you, but don't worry, you'll survive the fall. Next, you'll make your way over here and pass by this teardrop scarab, which by the way has the Storm Assault Ash of War if you're interested. Soon you'll notice this Crucible Knight approaching you, but don't worry, you won't have to fight him. Just make your way around him and head over here to this lift. You can send it up, which will leave a bottomless pit, which you can easily bait him into falling into. With that done, all you need to do is meet its requirement of 27 faith, and then you can smash your way through a large portion of the game. So those were just a couple of the notable items hidden within the depths of Stormveil Castle. Let me know how many of these items you already knew about in the comment section, and if you'd like to see another video on a different location. But other than that, I would appreciate it if you left a like on the video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more from me for some reason.